Alrighty. Yes. Welcome back, my friends. You know what day it is. It's Saturday, May 16th, 2020, Armed Forces Day. So give a salute to anybody who's served. I like the people that serve. I don't really like the commanders that send them to go die needlessly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the job that soldiers are willing to do. I don't appreciate the way that they're being used. That's my view. When I lived in Colorado Springs, I worked at a wine place. You know, served food, but mostly the focus was on wine. And every weekend, or every other weekend, we would have the Fort Carson ladies' lunch. They were, maybe 8 or 10 women would come up from Fort Carson and, sit by the river and eat lunch and enjoy some wine, and that was it. Then it switched over and it kind of became a little group of widows from Fort Carson. 4, and then 6, and then 8, and then 16. And pretty soon, it was so many people they had to go have lunch somewhere else because there was so many, this Fort Carson's widows group it kind of became. And it was that was during the 2003, 4, during the George Bush War. The second George Bush War into Iraq. The second George Bush, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it just struck me as strange that we love our armed forces people and we claim to be, the people that salute the flag and, they clap for them in airports. But then when it comes to the reality of helping soldiers, they're always quick to cut the funding and to let people just get cut. I remember they were sad because, if you lived at Fort Carson and then your husband died in Iraq, they had to move. They were like, I just got a notice 2 weeks ago. My husband died and I got 2 weeks to move. I just don't feel like that's a good way to treat the soldiers that you allege that you love and treat you so well. I don't know. That's not a military rant. I just, when you have experience with that, my stepdad was in the Marines for 8 years. I got to go to the Marines ball to drop him off and pick him up. That's an exciting thing. Holy smokes. I guess I say that because it's a holiday, Armed Forces Day. Today's the day we say thank you to our armed forces. The problem is that those armed forces don't always use the arms or the force correctly. But I think more of them do than don't. You'd be surprised. Let's get back into something that we talked about yesterday. Yesterday we talked about the Red Barn, which is a great bar in Palm Desert. And they have been shut down since March. They got to sign up, save jobs, hang a politician, the governor sucks, stuff like that. So they were having protest problems. And just yesterday after we did the show, they got hit with a cease and desist order by the ABC, Alcohol Beverage Control, that knows that they've been open illegally and, was trying to shut them down. Now the owner claims we have not been open, we have not done any business. But the people on Facebook and Instagram that put up pictures of themselves partying at the Red Barn, or out back at the Red Barn, or just meeting there in front of the Red Barn for, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's put pictures up online, and now everybody's snitching. Everybody's snitching. Now look, when you hear the interview with the owner of the Red Barn, he just wants to get back into business and get his business going. But I don't think he's quite understood yet that there's no business. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to cram in 400 people. All getting drinks and no room to even walk through, let alone the fire hazard, now the death hazard, So his business is not going to go back to being the same, Also, he put an ad out that said that today, Saturday, that he was looking for DJs and bands to play. That's not going to work in the new world, bro. You're not going to have DJs and bands. That's your 10 people right there. Like, you're going to have the band, like, literally outside, right? And then everybody can hear them, but nobody can get to them. You know what I mean? There's like a little barrier around, like a moat around the band, and then the people are over here. Like, every restaurant's going to have to rethink their stuff, okay? I know what you're saying. That's not fair. Listen, when the internet came along, it wasn't fair for the companies that couldn't afford the infrastructure, and they all died by the wayside. Mom and pop stores that still use pen and paper. I remember them going out in 2003, 4, 5, 6, especially 2008 when the big crash happened. Tons of businesses went out. And only the ones that had prepared for the new world by having a website, being online, having that digital presence and proper branding we speak about. Those companies are now thriving. Except for MySpace. What I like about the Red Barn, though, honestly, what I like about the Red Barn is that it's a mom and pop bar. Okay? You go there, you see local bands, you see local people, you meet people that actually live and work in the desert. You know, you go to the corporate bars, you go to, Costa's at the Marriott, that's never going out of business, but there's no soul. You know, the Yard Houses in Rancho Mirage, that sucks. I only know because I worked there when it first opened. So there's lots of corporate bars, they never really get a grip in the desert though, because they don't understand that starting now, at the end of May, right? So you go June, July, August, and September, and there's no work for any of it. Did my light just go off? We're gonna do this live. No, it just died all the way. Ha 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 ha! We go back to the old light. I don't care. Hey, what's up? Just bought a new light, doesn't work, just died live on camera. Hey, what am I supposed to do here? Got no crew, got no folks. Got some funky lights so you can see my face. So in the desert, right now, season is over. Okay, for June, July, August, and September, there is no work. There's nothing to do. It's very, very difficult to get money because there's no tourism. So unless you work at like a pool cleaner or a HVAC or something like that, there's no money. Okay, you work at the mall, you work at May Company, Robinsons, whatever the store is, you work at Macy's. Okay, everybody's buying clothes in the wintertime. Summertime comes, you don't sell nothing. You sell nothing. All places are like that. Every restaurant I've ever worked, you get laid off and you have to go collect unemployment, right? And then that's not fair for people. You know what I'm saying? So understand that that's what people are going through. Like right now, the people are supposed to be ending the season in Palm Springs. They end the season now with the really big Mother's Day. You make a lot of money on Mother's Day. And then that's it. You're laid off. Definitely laid off by the beginning of June. And then you don't come back to work. October is when they reseed everything, all the golf courses. So the tourists don't really start coming back till November. And in the beginning of November, it's still really hot, so not a lot of people. So in the desert, you got 5 months of nothing going on. And then they had that extended because this year, instead of starting in June, it started in March. That's why the desert's hurting. Because the entire economy is based on people going there to enjoy stuff. And you can't go there. Coronavirus or not, nobody goes there in August. It's just too hot to enjoy. Your shoes melt. You get in the car, the temperature in your car, 155 in your car. So nobody goes there. I don't know why I keep talking about this point. My point is, I guess it's about the Red Barn. You know what I'm saying? This poor guy, he's going to go out of business because who is going to be there to keep that business going? And if you can only have X amount of people because you have to live in the new world, right? It's a new world. And you don't do those things. Like, dude, you don't want to use the bathroom in there. People are doing drugs in the bathroom. And if you're sharing straws, who cares about washing your hands? You know what I'm saying? But let me just end it all with this, okay? I'm always in favor of the mom and pop stores. Always. You see me? Always in favor of the mom and pop stores. That's the problem. The big corporations came along. Now they get to handle this hit because they've got X amount of money in reserves, or they're a publicly traded company and they got this and they got that. They shut down 97 locations. They still got 500 locations. Keep the mom and pop stuff. It is getting hot. We're going to have the June gloom this year, and I don't think it's going to be just about the weather. I feel like as the weather gets hot, it's really hard to be inside, You start sweating, you want to get out, you maybe don't have a pool. There's no community pools going to be open this year. There's no water parks going to be open. We see how the beach goes. Everyone's going to be flocking there, but I really feel like they're going to be selling a lot of kiddie pools at Walmart this year. We're going to get one because it's just so hot. Man, what are we going to do? I'm supposed to be headed out to the desert in 2 weeks. I was supposed to be at the Coachella Valley Improv and Comedy Festival. Now that festival, even then, we were questioning, it's a little late in the season. What's up with that? And they're like, well, that's when everything's available. Of course, it's been postponed. Hopefully it takes place in October, November, something like that. But, we're living in a new world, man. Everything is getting postponed. All concerts. We talked Hollywood Bowl. Canceled entirely. Walt Disney Concert Hall, LA Phil, all canceled. So that's the new cancel culture. Not because they said something bad, but because they just have too many people. I don't know. Man, I don't know where this is going to end up and where this is going to lead to. I just know that it is a new world. And every day we go about that world differently. You know, in Los Angeles, we have about 20,000 cases of COVID. But in New York, they have about 30,000 fatalities from COVID. So it's really about your perspective and what you're doing. You know what I mean? For the people that are like, I don't understand how this disease, you know, blah, blah, blah. Let me just finish with this. Crazy people are nothing new. Okay? I don't know if you heard about this conspiracy theory about the whole 5G. People are burning the cell phone towers because they think the 5G is causing the COVID virus. In 1890, there was a thing called the Russian flu. I wonder where that one came from. The Russian flu came, and people literally blamed the electric light, the light bulb. Okay, they said that the light bulbs on the street were causing this thing, and that it was making right? Now, were they crazy? Or were they right? Probably a little bit of both, because if you live underneath the power lines, you know, you get those cancer clusters. That's not accidental. So, you know, on one hand, there probably is a little bit of science that has to do with, hey man, we shouldn't be hanging out next to things that emit waves and rays that are bad for our bodies. On the other hand, if the 5G towers are causing it, then how the hell is it in Sri Lanka? How did that thing, why is it in Ecuador? Bro, Ecuador is on 2G. What, you know what I'm saying? So now that theory doesn't hold any weight. Right? We don't have 5G around the world. It's a new and emerging technology. I just feel like, I don't know why that story about the Russian flu, though, made so much sense to me that even back then, people thought, you know, this is it. It's not worth it. The risk versus the reward. The risk of seeing is not worth it when these things are going to... If you look back, you can see these are like articles and books, and at the time they were written off, you know, they're meant to be like, they're very legitimate. And it's talking about how the railroad is going to ruin everybody's life. That's one that was great, right? Oh, the railroad's going to show up, it's going to ruin everybody's life. Because they'll be going all hours of the night, and you won't be able to get away from them, and, you know, basically everything that happened. But it didn't happen as bad as we thought it was going to happen. I don't know where I'm going with all this. Oh, the technology, bro. Let's just end on this, okay? I can see I'm just talking about nothing. I'm sorry. I miss you guys. I can't wait for you to come over and drink some wine with me. And, oh my God, I miss everybody. Urgh. Yo, check this out though. When the printing press was first invented, opponents of the printing press claimed that you can't print books. Farmers won't farm. They're going to spend all day reading. No work will get done. People will be too busy losing themselves in books. Huh? That sounds like the exact same argument you've heard for television, radio, the internet, this app, that app, whatever name brand app you like, you know. You spend all your day on Instagram, you're going to go blind. It's probably true. I just think that it's funny that they're like, oh, books are going to be the end of civilization, y'all. We can't have that. Anyway, that's today's show. The weekend edition is here. Thanks for listening, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow.